Jisike asolangongo Musogi maochichi Iedi gedubi wayo Tuwasi chuku obi Monzo jonjo Iegu Musogu yadi anya Soya nike nadike Tuwasi chuku obi. Good morning to you anywhere you are watching this video. If it is your first time of coming across this wonderful platform, Linda's TV show, you are highly welcome. And if you like what we are doing here, kindly subscribe, put on your notification bell to all notification. In this way, you'll be able to know when we upload a new video. I appreciate you too for creating this wonderful platform. At the same time, I put a disclaimer that here in Linda's TV show, we do not preach misleading information, we do not preach hate speech, we do not preach violence, we do not instigate war or any forms of violence because I do not like such things and I will never promote them here.
Igbo are not just a people of the southeast. Ndi Igbo can be found across Nigeria in Delta, in Edo, in Kogi, in Rivers, in Benue, and beyond. Everywhere where they have carried with them a spirit of enterprise, resilience, and cultural pride. Yet, despite their wide presence and contributions, the question of Igbo unity has remained complex, shaped by politics, colonial distortion, economics realities, and internal differences. But today, we have a sense, a renewed one indeed, a renewed energy. Across the homeland and the diaspora, voices are calling louder for unification, whether in politics, culture, or economics. This conversation seeks to ask, what exactly is driving this momentum? And what can we do to turn it to real strength for Ndibo and for Nigeria? Today, I am honored to have me here, distinguished guests who have been making remarkable contributions in their various fields as regards to the topic today. I have here Chukwuemeka Justin Kogolo, who many popularly known as Deputy Jesus, a powerful cultural and spiritual voice who has inspired many with his message of resilience and truth. Nemeka, you're welcome. Chukwuemeka, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, the host. I'm grateful to be here with you people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We also have Chief Onwemmadu Kainebi, who is the CEO Igbos TV, who has dedicated this platform to projecting Igbo heritage and championing cultural pride. Kainebi, Ekenemgi.
Ndewo maazị Émérged ndewo ekene m unu obi dị m ụtọ nwere ịnọ na platform a taa daalụ sir.
Okay. Ndewo nwanne m. Next is Onyekachi Osai, who is also popularly known as Spirit Almighty, a passionate advocate for identity and spiritual awakening among Ndibo. Spirit Almighty, anyị ekene gị. Thank you very much. Now, the last but not the least is Chief Chukwuemeka Ndukaku, who is the convener, Unify Igbo Now Movement and director, Namen TV, whose movement has been at the forefront of mobilizing for Igbo solidarity and unity. I must say this. Many will say, why do you have only young men in this conversation? Of course, there is a careful thought behind this by this platform. What Njenje Media here want to achieve is to have the voices across various platforms that are being in the forefront of this renewed conversation. Bear in mind that every single person on this platform this evening is born since after the Civil War. Therefore, together we will examine the political and economic dimension of unification while we also reflect on lessons from history, including the heroic resistance of the
etonite o nwere ihe ndị anyị bido fụba that ịkpanite ajụjụ ana m asụ asụsụ dị otu a, ana m aza afa dị otu a, ana m eme omenala dị otu a. Kedu ihe kpatazi? What is the reason behind me saying this is not who I am? But in the recent, everything I do, everything, my life portrait actually point to this, no yakambo. But I'm taking myself away from it, saying, no yakambo. So yeah, that is what actually gave birth to Igbos TV, because as we begin to move around, we were able to find out that there are reasons behind the denial, there are reasons behind the rejection, there are reasons behind the shying away from what is truth. So we say, okay, the only way to overcome this is to begin to enlighten and constantly educate our people the danger of denial, what we have denied ourselves at the cost of denying our identity, the danger of standing alone, the danger of making ourselves to be minority in a place that ought to be the majority. And what we stand to gain if we align ourselves back to that, what is it called? To that stem that we have taken ourselves out of. So in that we have pattern region, if on that are together to exercise their oneness.
Thank you very much, Wanem. Thank you very much. Spirit Almighty, Kamnjukane, in line with that, kedu ihe gị nwa nwere ike ịgwa anyị?
Okay, nwanne m daalụ sọ Émérged TV. Ife ga-amarị bụ na dịka mụ kịta abụ m onye ụkwụ anyị. So ndị nke anyị bụ ndị ụkwụ anyị. For so long, even before wa mụọ m, mfu onye ụkwụ anyị ibe m. Ngwa na anyị bụ ndị Igbo, ọbịa ọsị mba na anyị bụ ndị ụkwụ anyị abụghọ ndị Igbo. So ndị asị na emewe na amarị na onwe họkwa ife dị iche between anyị bụ ndị ụkwụ anyị na ụmụ nwanne ndị dị na Southeast. Mana abịazị m chọpụtazi na politics so n'ife me na ndị nke anyị bido na-asị na wa bụ ndị Igbo. Ma ị bịa n'enu anyị ma ka nwancha ọbịa na-asị na wa bụ ndị Igbo. So inesisi anya ife mewa jasị na wa bụ ndị Igbo, ọ bụrụ na ife ndị mesige oge ga-aga. So nsị mba na m ga-ewere my page na social media ka m bido na-akọwalị ndị nke anyị na-emewe na amarị na anyị bụ ndị ụkwụ anyị embrace ya ụmụ nwanne ndị Southeast na ọ ga-adịrị anyị mma. Anyị ga-ebido na enjoy ife ncha na-abịa with unity. Onwe ife ga-aghọta na onye na-anọrọ onwe na-esi na ndị a na igwe bụ ike abụghọ nwanne n'ịchọrọ ka ị nọrị n'ofu ka ị nọrị n'onwe. Onwe so many things ị ga-adị limited to. Mana anyị ndị a join ya Southeast like now ọ bụrụ ka na onwe onye ụkwụ anyị na-achọ ije for presidency. So ndị ụkwụ anyị ama votu there. And they ma achọ ka ndị Southeast ụmụ nwanne anyị vote early. Ebi na deny your Igbo identity. So denying our identity all means so many bad things. So I am ndị anyoma now. Yinanya anyoma bụ ofu. Eka oshimiri anyocha n'ụkwụ anyị ncha bụ nwanne. Ọ ya mere nji na-asị ka Igbo nọkọ ọnụ ka anyị bụrụ ofu. Na in oneness we will succeed.
Ndewo nwanne m, ndewo. Chukwuemeka, mgbe anyị nọ na-achọ ka anyị kọwatara onye ọbụla onye na-ekwunu, ọ dị ka o nwere ka igwe eji ekwu okwu si wee kpachapụ gị. mana obi m ụdị aṅụrị na ịbatago. Kedu ka ị nwee ike ịkọwatụrụ anyị otu nkeji nwee ike ịkọwara anyị onye anyị na ya nọ, kedụkwanụ nke ị ka emechasị? We can hear you. Hold on. Unmute. Okay, go ahead. You've been unmuted.
Okay. Ana m ekele gị maazị, ana m ekelekwe ndị Igbo na ndị mba ụwa na-anọnyere anyị taa. Ezigbote aha m Chukwuemeka Ndụkakụ. Awụkwanụ m onye Mbieri na Mbaitoli Local Government Area, Kano, Imo State. N'ike nke Chineke, mụ na-ahụ maka njem Unify Igbos Now. Njem Unify Igbos Now ya mkpakọta Igbo ọnụ bidoro n'afọ ole na ole gara aga, approximately 4 years now. N'afọ anọ ka anyị bidoro na-aba ebe niile anyị na-anọ na ntị na asị na ndị Igbo na asị na ndị Igbo nwekwe n'ebe ahụ, maka na dịka m na-etolite ezinyere m ka m gaa akwụkwọ na obodo nke Port Harcourt. So ebe ahụ ka m nọ asị nwa si na-aba, nwa toro na-aba. So m na-ahụ na enwere ife anyị na-asị na ọwụ onye Igbo. So ebe a ka ihe na-eme m taa, njem m bidoro taa bidoro. So amụa na-ahụ maka Unify Igbos na ya mkpakọta Igbo ọnụ na gburugburu ala anyị niile, ebe niile enwere ndị Igbo. Udo na-achị.
Udo dịrị gị. Okay, thank you very much, nwanne m. Ngwa ka m nweta kene nwanne anyị nwoke bụ ka njukene ya ajụjụ, and m ga-achọkwa ka onye ọbụla n'ime anyị tinye ọnụ na ajụjụ anyị chọrọ ịjụ. Chuks, Deputy Jesus, kedu ihe ọ dịghị ka merenụ that led to some part of ndị Igbo denying their identity? What is it that you think that happened that led to that? I mean, not that many of us haven't read a lot from the books. Of course, we have hundreds of them. But, you know, as young people, because I must give you guys credit that within the social media space, you know, the reason why all of you are here is that you have used your social media handles to talk about these so much. And the Okwane Émérged Noreba. So they can say Joage and then Gacho, Kikwatuna, Dikisi Gota. Makanam carefully, I choroko bukene umunai ndina bug in the southeast ge lead kene this conversation. And the two inokita Kibiasi Kikwakena Makanambu for don't wake up no we hena menu Madam Maga. Madam wake on your naces or Magia. Manakwakena ihemere edeji webe yabunwe. Go ahead, Deputy Jesus. I think Ingwe lag there. Go ahead.
Okay. Yes. Ịma na ndị Igbo anyị si na asị ite aka ọ bụla omenala. Ajụ ife taa aka ọ bụla omenala. Ihe dị n'obodo a bụ na ihe mere ndị be anyị ji bido jụba na ha bụrụ ndị Igbo ọ karịrị nkụ. Mana nke kachasị nke bụ na ndị be anyị tụrụ onwe anyị asị ka a nwere nke a wee bido okwu. Onwe ihe m kwuru na radio station AIT, that communication ray power. Obodo Nigeria ka a tụrụ anyị asị na Nigeria gbaa bọọlụ with India. A win 99-100. Agba Nigeria 99 goals ọ bụrụ so ofu ka anyị nyete. Ọ asị atụrụ anyị n'obodo a. Ị ga-ajụ onwe gị ka onye kiriri bọọlụ a ka ebe na wee gbaa the ball. So ihe dị na ihe a bụ I'm an aya after Nusalaya, no one survive. Kanutalaya Biafra, only survive. And to survive, you need to deny some certain things. And when the so can happen for 20 pounds. When the talk how we can retrieve all their property, happen. So there were a lot of factors that plays out in the denial process. But the major problem is that we lie to ourselves. That is the major problem, because I find out that accusing other people or not taking responsibility of our irresponsible action is one major problem, and it's fueled by ignorance. So we supposed to first of all acknowledge that we lie to ourselves. I told I say I run the Igbo. And I told I say because I teach survive war. The system that Nigeria itself created even before independence, he tight and foster, want to kill anything that bears Igbo right from origin. I've shared this story many times in my platform. After the Ekumeku War in 1883 to 1914, and well, a lot of policies that the colonial era put in place to make sure they divide the Igbos to be able to rule them. If you have read a lot of books, as you said, you understand where I'm coming from. So divide and rule came. But you see, in that process, it's still in our decision to make sure that we do not accept what a foreigner is telling us. Okay, now, I'm Chubo na Delta State. Manafa mbo Chukwu Emeka. Afọ obodo mbụ Nchubo. Afọ obi mbụ Obi. Idumu nsibịa bụ ụmụ Oshomi. Nne ya Waji. Nna agba Ọgbanigwe. Ngoro agba mkpọ naanị. Nna azụ afọ Eke Orie Afọ Nkwọ. So ọ bụgoro na mmadụ si gị tinye aka n'ọkụ, ị kwesịrị itinye aka n'ọkụ, ị ga-ajụ onye a ka ihe m na-etinyela aka n'ọkụ ebe m bụ mmadụ, ọkụ dụchazie m nke bodozie onye ahụ. So it is still our duty to accept that we falter, and this is where I'm coming from, because over the time when I started propagating this, I found out that 99% of us believe lies more than the truth. That is where even Nigerian problems started from lie. And that is why I personally made deliberate intention that in all my videos, I will bring facts, evidence, and logic truth. Because if the truth will set people free, it means that lies put us into slavery. Correct. If we are in bondage, if we are suffering today, if we are not progressing today, it means that we believe lies. And if the truth will set us free, that means lies is the one that kept us where we are today. So that's all I say. And we buy into those lies. Because I found the reason ị ga-eji na-eri na-ata ọjị ndị Igbo, na-anwụ nkwụ ọcha ndị Igbo, na-agba ogene ndị Igbo, na-ata abacha ndị Igbo. Ndị be anya si rie oke isi, rie oke ọdụ, pụtakwa na eti si na oke na-enuzi inu. Ka onye rizi oke isi na ọdụ dị ya.
Thank you very much.
So ọ ya bụ ihe bute enu na atụrụ anya asị, mana anyị kwelu na asị asịla anyị bụ eziokwu.
Okay.
This is the first point that our forefathers or those who are before us do not look into it. And when they were doing it, they did not see it today. As of that time, it looks easier for them to deny and survive. But they laid a foundation that lingered to this point. Because if they have seen it that time, know that this thing we are doing now, at the later on, it will affect generations to come. They would have stopped. But they continue lying with hope that one day it will stop, one day it will stop. Now it never stopped. 5 decades after the Civil War, the thing is still lingering. And if we do not put a stop to it now, we don't know what will happen to the next generation. That is the major problem here.
Thank you very much. So, Biko, Nga Choka can he be very time conscious? Because Onye Madu. Please, Kainebi, we're in Keja about 2 minutes. They can see where Joya Makana, etu iru anyị si dị iche iche ka echiche anyị niile si wee dị. Nwanne anyị nwoke ekwugo na we lied to ourselves. That's the major thing ọ na-ekwu here. Na ndị gboo, ndị nna nna anyị lied to themselves na pa bụrụ Igbo. Mana in your own view, gịnị ka iche? What do you think led to the denial of the, some of us denying the Igbo identity?
First, thank you, sir. Thanks to our listeners. I have so many things to say to that effect, but let me start by reminding us that even before the wave of this denial, Ndibu has always been one. Majority of the communities that you see today in Delta State have link, both the Calf today, both the Kwale, and both the Aniocha, comprising that of Anioma, have link directly with Nri. Most of the kinship, this thing there was actually founded by Odogu. These are Nri. The stories are there. Now, number one is this. Some of the factors that led to this denial of one's identity was a systematic arrangement actually placed to work against Indigo, one by the colonial masters that comprises of British, Portuguese, and so on and so forth. Secondly, the system that run Nigeria, the way it was phantom. Because those who colonize us, when they have an encounter with us, they actually discover that the three major ethnic groups we have in Nigeria don't reason in the same vein. For that purpose, they were measured and see the ones that are very tough. And the ones that are very tough are nothing but the Igbos. And for them to gain whatsoever access to every mineral resources in Nigeria, a system must be put in place to always put a kind of blame on the Igbos to chase us inward so that we will not come out and begin to express ourselves. Because the first one is called a very serious this thing with us. Number one, when you look at the Iswama resistance, when you look at the Kukumeku war, when you look at what is it called? There is a Eka against Bini, Oba Bini and his army, that when after they have dethroned the Oba Bini, they're taking him to Calabar, then the rest one who agree with the Britain, they put up a system, and that was the system that actually gave birth to some of the systems that makes our people to begin to claim that they actually came from Benin. Now, a system was put in place. You are made a warrant chief, you are made this, and you are working closely to the Obas. So, a lot of things, our people fought them. That is aside. Now, the major one that crowned it all was the aftermath, the after effect of Civil War. It was systematically, placed to perpetually silence Igbo race. How did I mean? How did I mean? Number one is of it is that the what is it called? After the Civil War, Awolowo came up with a policy that if you are an Igbo person, it doesn't really matter how much you have in the bank, that you are only entitled to 20 pounds. They don't care how much you have in the bank. The only thing they are giving to you is 20 pounds. And even before, why the war was a kind of the wave things, Gowon also said, we are going to create a cost state. And that cost state was a way of dividing the Igbos the more. Now, when that policy came up, our people started fighting because they discovered that losing the whatever you have in the bank because you are an Igbo. Secondly, being rejected as an Igbo man, leaving the governance for the people of Nigeria. So a lot of factors. Number one is this. Ika, Aniocha, and Kwale, we are all Igbos. by tradition, by language, by everything, because when you look at the characteristics that define somebody, for example, even Anambra, I'm a neighbor need them many. There is a difference. They are all Igbo by character, by language, which is the dialect, with some other things. You will know that these two, they are one, but something has come to differentiate them from being same. Just as what you said, no two are in the teacher, no two are teacher and understand the nice way teacher. So they know. Our people denied being Igbo because one, they want to be reintegrated into Nigerian system. They don't want to be pushed away from the Nigerian system. Our people deny both, and what I mean are people, I'm talking about the Igbos in River State, the Igbos in Delta. These are two major states that have issue of identity crisis. Our people who are in Kogi and Benue, they are not having identity issue. The only problem those ones are having is that it's as if we have forgotten them. It's as if they are not being carried along. And they too, they are not willing to fit in themselves into the system so that they could be seen as they are not denying it. But it's only Delta and River State that were having this issue of identity that somebody can wake up and say, Namabu no Nyibo, Barafamu Buche.
We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. Thank you very much. I like those points you made. So thank you very much. Let me circle back, please. Dikanseku bikono ihe ga-ekwu hinne mana ka imenia ka na-egbunia nkeji 2 minutes please ọ bụrụ na ọ ga-ekwa omume ngwa. Let me come to Onyekachukwu, Spirit Almighty. Ajụjụ na-abụ nchọrọ ịjụ ebu ọ bụrụ na ị na-anya, just like others have said, amara m na your own reality ọ dị iche. Onwe ife fakwu melu ndị ọzọ, ndị ụmụnne anyị ji wee na-asị na fa bụrụ ndị Igbo. Onwe ife fakwu dị iche n'ife iche ikwu. Onwe ife inwe to add or any other thing inwe to add on it?
Enwe m ife m ga-add to it. Ife chawa mana ife nghọta n'ime bụ na ife me ndị nke anyị ji asị na wa bụkwa ndị Igbo bụ lack of understanding. Now, in anya mụkwa anyị kịta, onwe ndị kwanye anyị ga-agwa isi na wasi Bini wee bịa. Mana ibidozi na-agwawa, ya bụ ibido na-ajụwasị gị bụ afa your founder si that Bini wee bịa wakpọbali ya afọ Igbo. Babe ọ na-akpọrọ ka nwere my community, for example, abụ m onye Ogume dị na Ndokwa West local government, Ukwaneland, Delta State. Now my community Ogume, the first na bụ Ogume Idu, because my ancestors see na that Idu area, present day Bini, Eboka, my ancestors see where they are not in our present location. Now, the name of our ancestors in Ogume, Omenkewa Chime. Yabun came my own village in Ogume. If I na kwabo, yami waja kwanye umu Chime. Afọ abu Chime. Afọ ọzọ bụ Odimegu. Afọ ọzọ bụ Agboloaka. Afọ ọzọ bụ Ogwezi. Ifo afọ ndị a niile bụ si afọ Igbo. And yami oge ancestors are ndị a nata from Idu. Culture, tradition, ife ncha waji wee bili bụ omenala Igbo. Ịbịa na be anyị adị aza afa ndị Bini. Ife na-aza bụ Ndụka, onye na-enwe afa anyị ncha bụ afọ Igbo. So that lack of understanding na-ekwu na ndị nke anyị biri bụ na kosibu na ndị nna anyị si Bini wee bịa. Ya bụ kosibu na wasi anyị Bini wee bịa. na wabo ndi Bini. That word Bini akwache no. What hode no kobo the name of this our ancestor. Gi ko mean obo afa Bini ko obo afa Igbo. Inanya now. So many Okwane communities migrated from southeast. Oh, when this Anambra we bia Okwane. Oh, when this Imo State we bia Okwane. Inanya no Okwane. Aina awaji. Aina afie no. Aina yi okbodo don't care for what. Mbiro na agba Oshinle Mikenga the most yabo Ibia no Okwane. One of the major festival in Emebo, Ikenga. Ikenga bo an Igbo festival. Ibiano Kwan, Ibata no Bodo Kwan into Obohamaraga Gwena, an Igbo can no. Man, that lack of understanding what you na I see Idu Ebia. We love na that land Idu Nandibo the indigenous in that land. Ndibo the indigenous. Water. So if you have in need water and only figure out as state creation so affecting thinking they can always get all those part of the war policies, you understand? So thinking natural is survive. Our people are denying their Igbo identity for survival. If you thinking Igbo, it's not just all about the war. The war is not the only thing making our people to say they are not Igbos. Lack of understanding. They can't see where Kawana was Bini Wedia.
Yeah.
And if you put our being able war,
okay,
and other things. So
thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, Chukwuemeka. Kamjukene Kita. Are you there? Adika, your internet or Popogi? Naman, are you there? Oh dear. Okay. I'll bring him back because I want to know his own perspective from the point that he may he's not denying his identity, but by the virtue of his engagement with some individuals, he may have had one or two things. But let me come back to us here. Asai, now that I have you here, in 2 minutes, Biko, let's pay attention to time. What do we believe is truly driving the renewed momentum for Igbo unity in the year 2025? Because it appears in the last 3 years, the momentum has really gone up the roof. So, Kedihunu Chebuya, let me start with you again. I know you just spoke now. Onyeka Chukwu.
That also, after Amaka. If you may, I do bido this movement now. Deka kaisi we kuna disunity na-eme anyị bụ ndị Igbo alụ. Ịbịa na politics, ndị Igbo are lacking behind. And one of the major reasons ndị Igbo ji lack that behind bụ lack of unity. Anyị ejighị ofu ọnụ na-ekwu na this country. Ndị Southeast na-ekwusi aka, ndị Anyọma na-ekwusi aka. Ndị Ikwere na-ekwusi aka. Lack of unity and understanding. So anyị enega anya n'ife ndị afụ na onweghị ebe anyị ji ihu eje na ije nke anyị nọwọ. Anyị abịa bido na akụzi the importance of unity. Anyị bido na a big point say ife me anyị ji bụrụ ndị Igbo. Bido na akọwalị ndị nke anyị the importance of unity. Na ọjọọ njọ na mụ na anyị na-asụ ofu asụsụ ndị a na-asị na abụ harmony Igbo maka state creation. Ị ga-afụ onye ụkwanị ọbịa ọ na-asị na mụ bụ onye ụkwanị na onye Eka na onye Oshiri na onye Anyocha bụ nwanne maka na anyị nọ na the same state mana ịjụzi ya ngị na onye Anambra bụ nwanne ọbịa ọsọ ihe mba na anyị na ndị Anambra abụghị nwanne ọ ife ndị a mere ya ji wee sị mba ka anyị pụta na-akọwalị ndị nke anyị.
Okay.
Okay,
okay, thank you very much. So Chukwuemeka, you're back.
Yes.
I was trying to get you in before. Let me quickly, I know you're not denying your Igbo identity. That's not in doubt. And you're not from a state that is. But in the course of your engagement in the last couple of years, what is it that, those you have interacted with, what is it that they tell you that you can tell us that seems to be the reason why you think that the issue of denial ever existed in the first place?
Okay. Well, I can leave out the motivation of beginning a journey of beginning this journey, unify Igbos now, because I have been in the front line, traveling to all these regions, both from Bayelsa to Delta North, all the whole local governments in Delta North, to Akwa Ibom, to Cross River, to Benue, Kogi, Edo, and River State. Like I will borrow word from Madu. Where we have this identity denial is majorly in Rivers and Delta region, and also Edo. That is the Bank.
Okay, no, hold it there. You borrowed a word from Madu, Kainebi, and you're re-emphasizing it. Then I'll ask, why do you think the three places you mentioned are the heart in this?
This whole thing, this whole denial is based on the aftermath or even during the Civil War, because there are more confessions behind the camera than the actual people that are interviewed. Because we began this as maybe trying to create content around the identity crisis of the Igbo people, especially in the Rivers and Delta. So, but when we went deeper, we realized that there is... Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. We realized that there is a scare about accepting the identity, even when everything that you both your name, your traditions, and even the name of your community points to the fact that there are other people who have similar thing in the Southeast. So you begin to see, and also lack of education, because education should be able to teach you that there is a language and there is a dialect. Lack of education also is part of this identity denial, because there is no deeper education in these regions that could help these people to be able to point to where they belong in the categories of language or ethnicity, where they belong. So we now, when we were moving around, we now understood that we are not just here to create content, we are also here to enlighten and sensitize. So that was what bettered Unify Igbos Now as a movement, because from the regions, like when I went to Émérged, the people, their names, their tradition, Ewaji, you understand? So they knew that it is similar with the people from the southeast. But this scare there is, if I agree here that I am betraying my people, if I agree that like they are betraying their consensus to say they are not Igbos. So the factors are lack of education and also fear of the unknown.
Okay.
Fear of, we agree that we are not going to say
So,
that we are,
so
that
now,
we are going to say that we are not Igbo.
you talked about betrayal. Then it then seems as if there is a consensus or an agreement somewhere. Do you think there is a thing
Yes.
like that? Like a community would say, no, we come together, we will not agree that way. Okay. In 1 minute, can you do that, please? Let me go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
Go ahead.
Okay. Now, let me take, for instance, in Omoku. When I went to Omoku, that is River State, Igbos Mandoni local government area, they have a consensus within themselves from their traditional leader, that is Ezop, that they are not going to sell lands to the Igbos of the southeast, but they can sell land to the Oguta people.
But Oguta is in the southeast.
That they can sell land now. Yes,
Oguta is in Imo State.
I'm coming to this. Yes, they can sell land to the Egbema part of river, the Egbema, the rivers, the Egbema people that are in River State. Now, these, and when you go to Uguta, there is a legend there that says that they come from Bini, just few. Now, their dialect, let's compare their dialect with the Ukwani people. It is similar. The Oguta people and the Ukwani people in Delta North, their dialect is similar. You get it? So they believe that they are one people. They believe the Oba person, the Oba man, believes that he is one with the Uguta people. Now let's compare. Let's put it back to what Almighty said. That most of their people say that they come from Benin, but what they have is Igbo names. Now, where is Benin? We are talking about the present day Benin today used to be what? Igodomigodo. Idu. Now, we have Idu, as in we have Onitsha Adoni Idu. We have Idu Eri. Idu is an Igbo land. Is Igbo language. So you see these people connecting themselves, tracing back to that Idu. The Oguta man tracing his origin to Ukwani. Ukwani tracing his origin to the Idu. These are one people. One people. Undeniably one people. So coming back to what I said about the Oba people not selling land to the hinterland people, to the hinterland Igbo. This thing is a scare. In Oba, nobody bears any Benin name. All of them bears Igbo. Their ancestral name. We are not talking about just the first name, but every name, their surname and everything is Igbo. So,
okay.
But okay.
Now,
behind
in 1 minute,
camera,
sorry. Okay, behind the camera, they'll tell you the truth. But in 1 minute,
yes,
I know because
okay,
your connection might be temperamental, somewhat. But in 1 minute, can you tell us what you think is driving this renewed momentum for, what actually? I mean, at the beginning, you cited that you went to school in Port Harcourt, but now you have yourself, you have Spirit Almighty, you have Kaine and you have Deputy Jesus. All of you, and many more, because there are many more. It's just that I wanted to have a certain number of people just to have this conversation. So that doesn't mean that it's only you guys that are doing it. But now the question is, what do you think is driving this momentum?
Well, what is driving this current momentum is this renewed push is that as let me borrow the Igbo language there. This time is the period of unification. As simple as that. The people have now realized that Igwe Buike, in that Igbo worldview, Onyayala one near Iko and Onurube one number.
But what do you think led to the realization? Obviously, it's an Igbo adage. It's been there. It's been existed before you and I was even conceived. So,
yes,
what is that thing that triggered it?
The thing that triggered this renewed push now is simply the kind of politics Nigeria is playing. The politics of number. Yes, politics of number. The Igbo man from I mean, this, I would say it's from 2015 election, we started realizing that it's about number, that the Igbo man can amount to something in Nigeria when we unify as one people with a common goal.
Okay.
It's the Nigerian politics, yes.
Thank you very much. So now, another Chukwu Emeka, Deputy Jesus, can you also tell me, in your view, Kedi Hodegika Melu Ejuwenwe, this resurgence that you guys are leading now? I mean, he said in his own view, Okwola politics, Ndorondoro Ochichi, that that Ndi Igbo are now realizing from the mistakes of the past. But in your own view, what do you think is also leading this charge? Unmute. Yes, go ahead.
Of a truth, they are not far from the truth.
Go ahead.
Part of the major drive behind this is the politics of the day. When you see how things are going, how an average Igbo man wants a good thing. I live in Abuja, so I know what I'm talking about based on experience. It is not favoring anybody in Nigeria, not just the Igbos. The truth is that even the more Nigeria think they're suppressing the Igbo, the Southeastern Igbos or the South Igbo or the North Central Igbo, they're still holding themselves on the same spot. So the major drive actually comes from this political game that Nigeria is playing, and it gave birth to most of us to start saying what is happening. I could remember my first video I made on this issue, first ever video I made on this issue, was somebody trying to, dismiss us as not being Igbo because they are trying to say that Ndi Igbo does not know how to play politics and we don't even love ourselves. That's why in my recent video I said, now we are trying to love ourselves, we are still the one angry. Igbos are not united. We are uniting our brothers, we are still the one angry. So, but the drive is this political undertone that Nigeria is always playing against us as Ndi Igbo. And onye ọbụla ma agbapụ n'ụlọ, maka onye anụrụ ntị na be enyi agbapụ n'ụlọ, echetakwa na tansị ahụ ga n'ebe a na-eche gị. People like us pick it upon us that we have to solve this puzzle, we have to solve this problem. We have to take the bull by the horn. I remember challenging some of those guys in my TikTok live, saying, look, if I pick up this challenge to make this video, 10 years, I will be online. I understand psychologically that this thing has accumulated for more than 50 years. You don't expect 1 year sensitization to wipe it off. You don't expect 2 years. So I give myself 10 years to make a counter video that will commiserate over the 50 years of work they have done. So the politics of the day Because if everything is working fine in Nigeria, if there is steady light, if there is good infrastructure, if like the demolition going on now, that everybody is talking about, Igbo people should come back home. If those things are not there, some of us don't need to be speaking. I'm asking some of my family members in my village forum that I joined. I said, look, you guys that have been claiming that you are not Igbo, are there not an Anioma person that did demolition affect in Lagos? Did they remove you and said, oh, your name na Chukwudi Okowa, but you are Delta, you are not Igbo? Did they do that? Did they shuffle you people and said, oh, this is Southeast, now these people won't deal with, not with this one? As they're marginalizing the Igbos or protesting in Ghana, are we saying there's no Eka, Okwane, Ogba, Echi, Ndoni that are not fine in those places, that have been, suffering the same narration that the Southeasterners are facing? Did they separate you from them? Just like the Civil War, when the train landed in Enugu, by eyewitness, the man said, he told me an almighty that the first cop he saw was a man he knows. He's his own person from Anioma. When the train landed, they opened the train of corpses of body they are massacred in the north. Our people were found there. So these things that are happening in Nigeria now give people like us the opportunity to say, no, enough is enough. We need to come together. We need to speak with one voice. And we need to do it by telling ourselves the truth. Like I said earlier, if the truth will set us free, it means that the opposite, which is lie, has put us in bondage. And look at Nigeria as a whole. We have been in bondage. We have been the one suffering. So we need to start setting Nigerian free. We need to start setting Igbo free. If Igbo become free, Nigeria itself will be free. Africa will be free. But the powerhouse need to be free. You can't keep holding a giant down and expect people to defend you. It's not possible. But we have to come to the point where somebody has to do it, because at a certain point, it seems like, apart from the last Martin Amadikano, nobody from the Southeast was actually speaking boldly about the issues of Nigerian politics. You look at if all our political leaders are just playing games, trying to suit the narration of other political gladiators in Nigeria. And people like us said, no, we are Igbo, and this is who we are. We can't constantly deny who we are.
Okay.
We need to tell ourselves the truth. Funny enough, some people that denied their origin, ask them what they have benefited.
Okay.
Okwani today has 9 oil wells, but no development.
Okay, thank you very much. And this question I want to picking up from Ebokwusi. He talked about Nihena drive this thing, the more or less he stopped the two Chukwuemekas na-ekwu ofiwe na ọgbasa politics. Now, what does political unity look like in real terms for ndị Igbo today? Or the something gabu a reality that naga nọkata sigi na political unity among ndị Igbo across and beyond the Southeast?
Mazinja have made so much point, but let me make one or two. See, we were divided politically. Igbo were actually divided politically. All the game tricks that were played against Igbo were played through politics. And there is one funny thing. We not being part of politics has given us a stand to fend for ourselves, has given us that position to stand out. The business you see that they celebrate Igbos around the world today was the distancing of Igbo from the politics of Nigeria. We decided to work and be the government of ourselves, my family and your family. And we got it at that point, and that is why today in Igbo land, there is no family in Igbo land that has not produced a millionaire, or rather a thousandaire. And that is why today in Nigeria, we have lesser beggar in Igbo land than every other place. But there's another negative part, negative impact that stand actually brought to Igbo. We distance ourselves because we know that Nigeria is oppressing us. It's okay, if now they have taken this, let us leave it for them and mind their business. But that thing we left for them yesterday is now returning back today to haunt us. That is politics. That is governance. We were busy working for ourselves, leaving that political terrain for them. And today it's haunting us. How did that mean? When Gowon said they are going to create a cost state, it wasn't his own ideology. That was the idea given to him by the Britain, because they wanted a way when Igbos will be so divided that we will find it difficult to have a unifying voice. The Northerners today that everybody is running to seek for an approval. If you want to be elected in any office today, they are not being better than us in education. They are not more wiser than us. The only thing that they are better off is that they were able to unite themselves as a people who believe in one cause when it comes to politics and governance. If you go to the north, they have different tribes. We that are denying ourselves, we are just one tribe. Just that we have a breakdown of language which we call dialect. But if you go to the north, we have Fufude, who are the Fulanis. Within that language, they have different dialects. I mean Fulanis, we go to the north, we have the Hausas that have the Hausa language, because Hausa is not a dialect of Fulani, neither Fulani a dialect of Hausa. We have Idom, I'm talking about those who are within the north. But do you know that these guys were able to accept together, irrespective of them being different, but they just accept it being that they are the Northerners. That has given them a kind of position that every other tribe are not struggling to climb to. Now, the president of Nigeria today, forget that all of us are claiming that Tinubu is easy, he knows how to play politics. The politics of Tinubu today, it is a result of Tinubu having his way to unite the whole Yorubas. And that is why an Oyo person can come to Lagos and claim to be a Lagosian. That is why the Ijebu man will leave Ijebu and come to Lagos and own the land and claim to be one of the land, because they have been able to put themselves together, throwing away their differences. That is a strength. That is a strength. So the negative effect of not being into politics is what we are suffering today. For how many decades we have lived as if we are not related. Now we are struggling to be recognized. When you come to data, the quality, the nurture, and the cars are one. There was a time we are being referred as Ndeka. As we keep going, due to some of these colonial politics, regions and stations were being established. A car was limited to what is it called? A car start and a car not that we have today. Another area was created which is called Kwalendo, another nurture. Then at that point, our people now said, because I heard you ask a question, did they have a consensus that are from today we are not going to be answering in Igbo again? Of course they do, but they did not, it was systematically. But not knowing that it's going to come fast forward to haunt every one of us. Now at that point, Ika was trying to push an ethnic identity. They think by pushing an ethnic identity, they will stand out, not knowing that politics is a game of number. Kwale was also trying to push an identity which they call Kwale. And they say we're going to call it Kwale and have our language. But when an Kwale man speak, Ikama will not look for an interpreter. When an Ikama speak, Kwale will not look for an interpreter. Also vice versa in what is it called? Aniota, Ndoshiri and so on. But these people, because those who advise them and those who actually tell them do it, it will work, did not let them know the negative effect of what they are doing. So Kwale is not trying to have an identity, thinking that promoting Kwale as a what is it called, as a tribe, or having themselves a language we make Nigeria to recognize them or the world to recognize them. But we never knew that taking that step will keep us backward. Of course, all the areas that are suffering this identity crisis are actually backward. I'm talking about the Igbos, I'm talking about the Delta North, who are the Anyomas. So politically, we have been dealt with. So the reason why I am not talking about what is it called, Igbo unification, we're not talking about politics and governance, is because that is only way we can have that total redemption. So now, because of what we have discovered, we decided that as organization that we have been able to put together, which is called the National Social Cultural Organization. The comprises of Igbos in Edo State, Delta, River State, Far Eastern State, Kogi, Cross River, Benue. These are people that come together to say, okay, now, if people are shying away from the word Igbo, they will not shy away from their language. All these places that you have Igbo, both the Kwale, we understand that fact and that word and the usage of that word called Bia. We say, okay, we're going to get this National Cultural Organization. Now, putting us together, we succeeded taking signatory from all these places that I mentioned. That means we're in agreement to bring ourselves together. Now, P2B, people are saying P2B is running to the north, doing this on the north. P2B believe that once he has an approval from the north, his ticket or his chances of becoming president of Nigeria is already there. Now, he failed to understand that his strength or the only strategy he needs to amount to that position that he wants is to unite his family. We have about 300 communities, Igbo communities in Benue and Kogi, North Central. For example, if community is about 300 or 400 in population, every community, times it by 300. You look at the number, you go to Edo State, you come to Delta, you come to River State, you come to Cross River, then before adding the 5 Eastern States, my brother, what do you think you are having as a number? We'll talk about democracy, we'll talk about the system, the voting strength and all that. So those who are sponsoring the division among the Igbos, they know that this is where our weakness lies. If we succeed coming together, we will never cry again for marginalization.
Okay, now let me piggy something that you said. You said those that were denying apparently were also not accepted. Are you saying that those who deny their Igbo identity are also not being accepted in those places?
They are not. They are not. They are not. Do you know? Let me tell you something. One funny thing. The crime of the former governor of CBN, Émérged, today is not up to 1/10 of what Rebadu of the Northern as a CBN then committed. The crime of most of these people,
unless you mean,
what is this, our brother, during the Get administration that was actually kept. And if you look at when Morrissey, who was also an anarch chairman, the reason why our people are being thrown away out of government so easily is because we are not united. Our voices are not strong. Go and write
unity,
this on
no, but hold on. Unity, let's be clear here, guys. Unity doesn't that even if we are united, it doesn't support criminal acts. If someone, I mean, I think what we should be
now, let me tell you, when you talk about that, see, I understand what you're saying. Unity does not support criminal, of course. But let me tell you, even in a system where we are, we know that Nigeria operates two standard of what is it called? Law. They will interpret chapter 1 under subsection 2 or whatever. And an Igbo man is standing and an outside man is standing. Two of them will never get an exact judgment, because the reason why is because when the judgment is passed, the northerners is being favored based on what they believe about them. So that is why I said that. So every criminal needs to be judged. And there are people I just mentioned. I said they committed crime, but they were not judged the same way they judge an Igbo person. No, I am coming. Give me just a few seconds. Are you aware that Ojukwu would have been more celebrated if Ojukwu never took a ticket to run for presidency after he returned from exile? These are all systems they use to kill us and kill our ideas. When Ojukwu returned back, there are existing political parties that would have accepted him as their candidate. Do you know what they do? Him and his team was advised to float a new party. Now, when they float the new party, they call the party an Igbo party. And you and I know as it stands today, that Abga is suffering that fate as it stands today. Tell me how many Yorubas that are able to run. I know a few of them have tickets, but tell me, how many of them accepted that party as a national party? These are systems. So one thing we need to do is that our unity first is going to give us a numerical strength. Then also that we make a move to National Assembly. We submitted 2 documents. One is boundary adjustment. We are making case that there are so many of our families that were taken away from us. We need them back. Secondly, that the 5 eastern states has been there as one of the smallest, the lowest number when it comes to geopolitical zone by numbering of states. So we need another state to be added to Southeast so that we can equate other regions. And that is why we submitted another document making the call for animal state creation, which will make the Southeastern state number 6 state. And by so doing, we have increased numerically as a region. We have also increased in landmarks. That will give us a say whenever there is a national politics. This is one thing we must understand.
Thank you very much. I mean, thank you for your brilliant input. Let me quickly also, ask this. Let's stay with, you started, on the political train. Let me ask this question, and I want Onyeka Chukwu to respond to this. As we approach the 2027 elections, could Igbo unifications shape the future of Nigerian politics? Do you think so? Do you think it's even possible that by 2027 that you have, mustered enough strength to do whatever that is necessary? What's your take?
Thank you very much for that question. Just like you said, that politics is a thing of numbers. Like now, we have succeeded in making Igbo nation know about a movement called Igbo Unification Movement. So many of our people are now getting to understand that for we Igbos to occupy power, like for P2B to be the president of Nigeria, he needs the support of Igbo nation. He needs full support, and that is
that does not necessarily mean or equals the Southeast.
The Southeast, we all are Igbo people, both the South Igbos, Ikwere people, Wane people, Ika people. We just have to come together and make sure we have political strength in the federal level. Yeah, that's all I have to say to that.
Oh, okay. Now, Chukwemeka, here, if we stay on this, the question will be, how can this unity in question be pursued without being misinterpreted by other regions that also, they are secessionists, they are rebels, or isolationists? You know, how can what you guys are driving, how do you ensure that it doesn't eventually connote to, you know, to the fear of other regions?
If I really understand your question, you're asking me how can this our Igbo unification movement not
Be
being
pursued, yes.
misunderstood by other regions, right?
Mm.
Uh,
As the people who want to, okay, they want to unify and push for another, you know, secession.
yes, I understand. Well, misunderstanding must surely come. But it's the ability to solve the problem or explain better, because when somebody tells you, say, you will not understand, he has not explained. If you explain, the person will understand. So people must surely misunderstood us. Surely. Why I use the word, so that we won't shy away from the misunderstanding. Definitely there are people who, even within us, that have been configured to believe that what we are doing, I know so many people that have tagged us to be terrorists, try to write things to instigate federal government to arrest us because they misunderstood what we are fighting for. But
Thank you so much for sticking to this video to the end. Like I said before, now it's time for us to go to the comment section to air our mind and our opinion. Say what you think about this video and this platform. Do it constructively. Share this video, like, subscribe, and also continue to watch Linda's TV show, because this is the home of news. Until I see you again in my next video, remain blessed. For now, I would say bye-bye.